take a moment to tune out of the rest of your day and give yourself a chance to start your practice. So I'm going to spritz a little. I'm doing one from the solstice, the bliss state, that I was feeling like I needed a little bit of sweetness. So go ahead and set your space. So the moon is in Cancer, so we can tend to feel a little lower energy or kind of more need for that nurturing energy, that self-care, kind of that tuning into our emotions. There's so much being triggered with all these oppositionals that there can be a lot of like relationship things highlighted, or just like power struggles, or kind of feeling powerless, or feeling kind of like frustrated, or just a lot of emotions could be surfacing. So when the moon's in Cancer, it's kind of a time to feel, to kind of process and kind of let these things kind of roll through. And our topic this week has been about grace, and about kind of meeting all these things with a sense of grace, where we kind of learn how to move through things and breathe through things, and, you know, do our best at feeling and not checking out a feeling, but being able to kind of like use these practices to let us kind of navigate with that sense of grace. So we'll kind of extend that in today with how we move. So let's find the Lotus Mudra today. So that one of the heart. So that's the invoking wisdom around the heart. So you have all your fingers touch, your thumb, I should say, and your baby finger touching, and the rest of the arms, the fingers open up into a lotus. And so closing your eyes, and letting yourself just kind of feel this mudra at your heart space. So bringing the energy into the heart. So one thing I've been personally working with is trying to really stay in my heart space during difficult times, when I want to kind of close my heart off, or I'm wanting to, I hold on to things in my heart. So just trying to breathe and let that heart space kind of, in a sense, be free and clear. So doing our best today just to add in that breath into the heart. So taking some nice deep breaths in and out, as if you could breathe dimensionally into your heart. So imagining on every in breath, from the top, the bottom, and the sides, that you're breathing into your heart. All the way to the core center of the heart, and on the exhale, breathing out through those same pores, those same channels. And just do that for about 4 to 6 more breaths. Two more breath cycles, just really seeing if you can let your awareness be in the heart space as you breathe in. And then allowing yourself to bow towards your lotus, towards your heart, forming the intention for your practice today. And maybe asking that heart, that sensitive place in yourself, what is it that you need today that you can offer yourself? Is it compassion? Is it tenderness? Is it taking a little load off of criticism, or feeling the need to do something? Whatever it is, forming that intention. And then your next inhale, bringing that intention into your heart, pausing at the top of your breath, starting to send that intention to every pore in your body, every cell. On the exhale, send it out. Let's close the hands together, bow towards your heart. We'll take an Om. Okay. When you're ready, open your eyes, and I'm going to move my prop, and we'll come to lying on our back. Let the soles of the feet touch and let the knees wide, and take your arms out to the side, maybe like in a V positioning. If you need to put some blocks underneath your thighs to shoulder, go ahead and do that so that you can kind of relax through the hips. And I want you to take the first 3 breaths to breathe into the back of the heart. So imagine if you could take the breath in through the earth up into the back of the heart. Do that. Just kind of focusing that breath, feeling the back of the heart rest towards the earth. Really focusing your mind at the heart space. One more breath cycle here. And then go ahead and lift your legs up, let your knees knock together, and then wrap your left arm over your right like you're giving yourself a hug. And let's breathe into the front of the heart. So even though your hands are closing off that heart, can you send the breath there almost as if you could feel the breath all the way to where your arms and biceps are? Like you're holding that space around your heart. Kind of letting your hands be felt as like a loving, compassionate touch. One more breath cycle here. And then go ahead and open your arms back again. Go ahead and straighten your left leg, bend your right knee. So you're doing a tree pose. And we did this on Monday. Take your right hand to your right thigh and breathe, and take a side stretch. So you're kind of breathing up and over to the right. And now breathe into the left side of your heart. Kind of feeling that opening of the chest. Even though you're doing a side bend, can you broaden across your collarbones and breathe into your side body? One or two more breaths, nice and deep. Relax what you don't need to work. And then opening that up, and then we're just going to switch the legs. So right leg straightens, left knee bends, then my left hand can go to my left thigh, and my right arm will reach up and over. So the hand can either go over on the thigh or to the outside. So side stretching, bringing it into the right side of the heart. Kind of imagining the tissues are on the right side of the lungs, the rib cage opening and dilating with every breath. And then releasing that neutral leg, so feet flat. So you had left over right, now right over left. And you can lift the elbows or drop them down. Let your legs be neutral and just breathe. Maybe you don't need another round at the back of the heart, the front of the heart, or even the side. One more. Nice. And then just relaxing your arms and your legs. If you want to take them up to the sky and kind of just roll your ankles and your wrists and feet. Shake it out. Then as you're ready, we're going to start to rock and roll up and down. So massaging the back of the spine. Two more. And then coming all the way up. Go ahead and grab onto the tops of the feet so that your feet are tucked. Round your upper back, relax your forehead to your knee. And then take the arms back, lift the chest, press into the feet, lift the hips. So like a cat-cow, hips down, reach your arms forward, cat your back. So we're allowing the upper back to round. And then hands back, shoulders back, lift the chest. And then just keep going. So I'm exhaling as I come forward, and I'm holding at the bottom of the exhale for a little pause. And on the inhale, lifting the chest. At the top of the inhale, maybe a slight little pause. And just keep going with your own breath cycle. And adding those little mini pauses where there's just a little bit of a feeling where the energy can settle. And then one more time, just like this. And then go ahead and put your feet flat. So you can stay here and just extend the heels slightly, or if your heels can extend all the way to the floor and you can come into a forward bend, go ahead and do that. Take 5 deep breaths. So if this is too much for the hamstrings initially, just keep the knees somewhat soft. You can grab onto the sides of the feet or the top of the feet. Relax your head. And can you feel the front body kind of open instead of getting heavy? Can you open the front body as much as the back body so that there's an even arc? Maybe there's a little bit more of a belly pull and a broadening. One more deep breath. And then walk the hands back, and then you can go 1 foot down, and you can repeat the same bridge pose, reverse altar, and then lift up for Bottanasana. So I'm pressing the chest and heart forward, reaching through the toes, strength in the back body. 3 more breaths. And then lowering the hips down. Go ahead and sit up nice and tall, just like that tree pose that we did. Go ahead and pull the right foot in. So the right foot is at the left thigh. Now you're more than welcome to sit up on a blanket or a prop if you need to. Take the left hand down by your left hip with your right hand, reach up. And then twist to the left as you grab maybe the outside edge of the foot. If you need to grab ankle or outer thigh, that's fine. So you're doing a twist and a fold at the same time. And if you'd like to, that left arm can grab on too. So it's a little bit of a twist and a little bit of a forward fold. So you might even kind of pull the belly up and rotate yourself a little further over to the left. 5 deep breaths here. And again, if you need to have your hands back because that's where you are, that's totally fine. One more deep breath here. And then we're going to take the right hand down where the right hip is, and we're going to lift up, and we're going to flow with this. So we lift the hips up, we take a side body stretch, and then we come right back to where we were. And then we take the right hand by the right hip, and then we lift up, maybe a little side stretch or maybe a back arch, and then we come back. So we'll do this like 3 or 4 more times. Really sync up your breath. So again, there's those pauses at the top of the inhale and the bottom of the exhale. One more time, maybe there's a little lingering here, maybe change up the shape, and then a little linger on the bottom of the exhale. And then slowly coming up and then realigning the feet forward. Just sit up nice and tall in Dandasana. So hands are by the hips, flex your toes back. Just neutralize the spine. Breathe in and breathe out. And then go ahead and bring the left foot into the right thigh. So I have a right angle. You're welcome to widen your angle a bit. So right hand goes by right hip, the left arm reaches up, and then I twist to the right before I lower towards the foot or the outer thigh, the outer shin, whatever you want to do. And I can stay there. Or I can take the second hand and grab onto the opposite side of the foot. So my hands are crossed. Of course, you can keep one hand by your hip. So once again, kind of churning the belly over to the right. So there is that twist with the forward fold. Relaxing your jaw, just sinking into the breath. Doing the hip flexors that they can soften back towards the bone so the front of the hip gets a little bit softer. And then slowly coming up, you're going to plant the left hand by the left hip. We reach up, and then we come right back down. So it doesn't have to be as deep as you just were, but just kind of moving the body through those same shapes. And then one more. And then when you're ready, go ahead and extend both feet forward. We're going to go ahead and bend the knees and come into Navasana boat pose. So lifting the chest, feeling the core engage. Take a deep breath in. On the exhale, Ardha Navasana. So we straighten the legs. We allow the rib cage to lift a bit towards the hips. Come back up. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. You can always use your hands if you need more support. Keep going. 8 more. Hold either one, Ardha Navasana or Navasana for 3, 2, and slowly come up. Cross your ankles, fold forward for a moment. Take a breather. And then slowly bring your hands up. And so we're gonna transition onto all fours. So when you're ready, sorry, I gotta take this off. It got a little warm there with the core work. All right, so you're gonna transition to your hands and your knees. So for this one, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a little bit of a snaking forward, cobra, and then we're gonna press back to child's pose, okay? So when you're ready, keep your elbows in, snake forward, cobra, and then you're gonna press up and back. Child's pose. So if this doesn't work for you, then I want you just here, that doesn't work for your shoulders, and do a rhythmic cat-cow. So it's much faster, but safer for shoulders. So be gentle with shoulders. So this one is our swan kriya. So we're gonna do this for a little over a minute. So you're going as rhythmic as you can. So it's as quick as you can to start to build some energy and heat as you're kind of snaking your way through the body. So feel that undulation of the spine. Keep the elbows in, keep the shoulders away from the ears. So this one can be easy to get those shoulders up by the ears sometimes where they start to feel those upper traps overwork. So again, come back to that cat-cow if you need to. We've got about 45 seconds. Keep the breath. You don't have to move too fast. So if you feel that you're moving too fast, you can always slow it down and just keep moving rhythmically. You're almost there. Stay back in your child's pose and pause. So you can rest your forehead on the mat. Feel the beating of your heart. Kind of absorb that energy, that heat into the heart space. And then come to all fours, tuck your toes under downward facing dog. So you can pedal the legs, lift and lower the heels, take a moment to reorient. We're going to take that left leg up and back. And then step your left leg forward between your hands, drop to your right knee, and then pivot so that your ankle is behind your knee and you're kind of in that kind of a knee down warrior two. Let's straighten out the left leg. So I have my knee and my ankle in one line. Arms out to the side. I'm going to take a kind of a side stretch over to my right. And I'm going to lift up. Right arm comes down to the floor. Left leg lifts. And then I take a bind. Then I'm going to switch it again. But I'm going to go nice and slow, right? So I'm going to take the time to set up my shapes. So it's not about going too fast. It's about finding just a rhythm. So maybe it's first just setting up my side plank, taking my bind, and again, expressing it as deep as I want. Warming back up into the side body, getting into the quads and the hamstrings. Taking your time, and if you need to pause on any side, feel free. So we'll do one more time flowing. Then the next time you come into Parigasana gate pose, we're going to hold here. So again, letting that right hip come forward, the left hip come under, and then really feeling a stretch in that whole lateral right side seam. One more deep breath. Coming up and then coming into that side plank, so I might need to modify by bringing my right knee further back. Lift that left leg from the strength of your left hip. Stay there for a moment before you bind. So feel that stability in your right shoulder and that right hip. And then grab that bind, however it works for you, outer foot or inner foot. Now lift the chest, kick the foot into the hand. Feel a little bit more power in that pose for 3, for 2. Slowly kick that leg out. Coming up to standing on that right knee and that left foot, bring the hands forward. And then we're going to plant the left arm, lift the right, little twist there. So really rooting from the left shoulder into the left palm, twisting and turning. And then thread the needle, right arm under left. And you can rest your head on a block if it won't reach the floor. Stretch from the outer right border of the shoulder through the right hand. And then press into that left palm and twist and turn a little bit deeper. One more breath. And then both hands come up. And then go ahead and come back the way we came. So now we're going to turn to face the front leg. I'm going to reorient that right knee down. And on the inhale, breath Anjaneyasana. On the exhale, pull those elbows down your back, lift your chest. Tuck your right toes under, lift your arms up, and then come to a standing knee raise. Standing knee raise. Exhale to tree. We're going to move into half moon from here, so take your time. You're just going to allow that right leg to come back. As you start to turn your torso so that your right waist lifts up and your left waist reaches out away from your hip. So I'm not using a block, but I could certainly use one. It's okay to feel wobbly. Stay for 3. Stay for 2. And go ahead and land that right foot down, warrior 2. So it's heel to arch. Take a deep breath. And then binding those hands behind you, lift and open your chest. So opening the chest, and then I'm going to start to come towards my side angle. So as I'm allowing myself to lengthen towards my left leg, I'm going to keep opening with my right shoulder and chest. So that left arm can pull the right shoulder blade back. Let your head go or look down. Last 2 breaths, keep your hips nice and strong. And then when you're ready, slowly coming up, warrior 2 again. Deep breath in. And on the exhale, hands down to the mat. Plank pose. Nice deep breath in, just holding your plank, building some heat here. Coming forward, tips of the toes, bend your knees, chaturanga to upward dog if you'd like. Cobra, always an option. Stay for an extra few breaths. And then coming up and back, downward facing dog. Okay, we're going to step that right leg forward. I'm going to switch the orientation of my mat so I'm not facing behind you. So the left knee comes down and then we pivot and swing that ankle behind us. So I've got the right leg long, knee to ankle, arms out to the side, and then I'll do that side stretch. And then the hands come up and back behind me, taking my time, finding the bind. Again, you're going to find your own rhythm and pace. Just keep breathing. Staying, if you want, a little longer, and pausing to have those bottoms and tops of the inhales being places of pause and just kind of small little breaks. Okay, last cycle, and then we're going to hold. Okay, when you're ready, up and over. It's okay for the left hip to come forward and the right hip to come under. Really breathing and ungumming that left side hip. So do all that you can to really reach and open up that space. And then left arm down to the floor. So we're going to build this slow. So readjust the left knee if you need to. Right leg reaches up. So we're like in a half moon, prepping. Lengthening both sides of the waist, strong through your hips. And then taking that bind. Kicking foot into hand, lifting the chest. Nice and slowly coming out. Then both hands down to the floor, reorient. Plant your right palm, lift your left. So I went ahead and spun my toes down, I didn't say that. Feeling the twist. And then thread it underneath. And so it's okay for your head to hang if you don't have anything to put it on, or you could place it on a block, or you could place it on a pillow. But we're actively reaching from left shoulder into left hand. With the right palm, I press and I spin my heart up and kind of let the front of the heart space relax back. Pressing up to your hands. We're going to come out the way we came, so we come all the way up. Then I'll turn, reorient my ankle and my knee, lifting up Anjaneyasana. Tucking my back toes under, press through your right heel, come to a standing knee raise, and then into a tree pose. Hands to your heart, find your earth, find your feet. Then as we're ready, we just separate left foot from right thigh, and we straighten the leg. And I start to turn my torso, just like those shapes we've been doing, where you kind of do a little twist and a little lengthening. Hold for 5. 4, knee in the center of the foot, so watching that. If you need to bend your knee, do that. Keep lengthening out of the pelvis. And then bend the right knee and come all the way down, warrior 2, arms come out. Go ahead and set up your legs first. And then binding the hands, so the non-habit forming way. So it's always your left thumb on top. Place your opposite thumb, lift and open the chest. Keep strength in your hips. Then as I kind of lengthen the right side waist towards my right thigh, I'll keep spinning that left chest back and up. So feeling that really strong work in the upper back and the core, but I can let my neck go or look down. Always an option. Last couple breaths. Free your hands and slowly come up, warrior 2. Cartwheel the hands down to the floor. plank pose. Holding a plank pose. So finding your center. We're going to hold upward dog again. So if you need to find cobra, please find cobra. Keep your chest lifted so it helps to lift the collarbones before we start. Coming into your upward dog, can you lift from the hips to the heart to the crown? And can you reach from the hips to the toes? All at the same time. One more deep breath. And then coming into downward facing dog. Pause, breathe, reset. One more deep breath. We'll step that left leg forward between the hands and we'll drop to the right knee. And so we're going to come up for a moment. If you need to pad a mat or double fold your mat so your right knee has more padding, please do that. Thumb will face forward as you reach your arm back to grab onto the foot. Now at first, back the hips up towards the ankles so you get more of a quad stretch. Your hand can be on a block or on your thigh. Lift up and out of the core. Shoulders on your back. So keep pulling your navel back and your heel and your butt are close for this first round. And then you can start to let the hips start to release forward and away from the ankle. Maybe your arm will come up. Maybe. Nice job. And then slowly letting your foot come down. Take your hands down, spin your back heel flat and out and fold over for Parsvottanasana. So this is a forward fold and I'm in warrior one legs, but I can be as wide as I need to accommodate the hips. So my kneecap is facing directly up. And as I kind of guide that outer left hip back and my pelvis or my hips over to the right a bit so I don't swing wide, I can really feel the core allowing me to lift out of the pelvis. Go ahead and bend the left knee and come into a standing split. So we're going to change this one up though. So your right heel is going to come towards your left buttocks, lifting through your right thigh. So think about, in a sense, tree pose, in a sense, half moon. Then with your left hand, reach and see if you can grab onto that foot. Ooh, cramp. So I'm lifting through my right thigh. I'm heel to the butt. Keep your breath going. Take another deep breath. And then go ahead and send that right leg back behind you and come up to a warrior two. Nice deep breath. Breathe in, breathe out, and then come into side angle. So hand to a block or your thigh. Right arm's gonna go up. And then a little bit of a back arch here. So do turn your chest up, although you're in side angle. So really affirm the core. So bring your pubic bone toward, your tailbone towards your pubic bone, but spin the chest up and the chest back a bit. Nice deep breath. You got one more. Then the hands are going to come down to the floor. And then we're going to step back to plank. So once again, holding, building some heat in our plank. And then come forward, tips of the toes, all the way to your belly, chaturanga. And we're going to do Dhanurasana bow pose. So reach your hands back. And so again, I'm going thumbs facing forward to make it a little easier in the bind. You can always go inside grip. So without doing anything at all, lift your chest a little bit. So draw the shoulders on your back. Kick your feet into your hands. Find your core. So belly pulls back and a nice and slow heart lifts towards the forward movement, and your core energy reaches through your thighs. And then slowly lower down. Make a forehead pillow and just windshield wiper your hips. Go ahead and straighten your legs out. Walk your hands back, plank pose to downward facing dog to rest. So we got our second side. Nice deep breath in and out. The right leg's going to step forward between the hands, drop to your left knee. Then I'm going to come upright, and again, if you need to double fold your mat or any extra padding, back your hips up. So I'm less in a hip flexor stretch, and I'm more directly hip over knee. Thumb is facing forward. I'm going to reach back. And it's okay to even look back again to reach, and then bring the chest forward. So first, butt and heel get a little closer. So I'm not feeling a whole lot in the hip flexor, just the quad. So I have to stabilize by pressing through my right heel. And then lifting up and out of the belly. So I want to kind of feel that energy lift up my spine. And then get a little juicier by letting the hips come forward. So now I'll kick the foot into the hand, and then maybe my arms reach up. One more deep breath here. And then slowly release the foot, take the hands forward, and I'm going to step that left foot out and turn it out. And I'm going to fold down. Parsvakonasana. So that right hip, it wants to swing wide. So take your outer right hip, pull it back, and move your hip slightly to the left, just so that you can feel that back leg is anchored. It's okay to be on blocks. It's okay to be on your shin. And it's okay to bend the right knee to the degree you need to be able to relax your head. So keep letting the belly lengthen your spine out of your pelvis so you don't feel compressed. And then bend the right knee, step into the right leg, and it's like a standing split. But now you're going to bring the left heel towards the right buttock, so that right sitting bone. And so you can't grab your foot, that's okay. You can either bend the knee, or you could just keep lifting through the thigh and get the quad stretch. Right hand reaches back to grab it if it's possible. And then I keep lifting through this thigh and pulling the heel in towards my glute. Last couple deep breaths. And then step it on back, warrior two. So heel to arch, take a deep breath, arms come out. Then I've got my side angle. And arm goes straight up vertically. So I bring my tailbone towards my pubic bone, twist and open up. And then I want to lift the chest a bit. So there's a little bit of an extra back arch. You just might look down, or I have to relax my head. A little bit of back arch. Last couple deep breaths. Really press into your left foot. So you take some of that weight and binding off that right hip. Nice deep breath in. And on the exhale, release the hands down to the mat, plank pose. Extra couple breaths in there to find your core. And then tips of your toes, keep the chest proud, chaturanga to dhanurasana. So if you are feeling a little bit more confident, maybe it's an inner grip. If you want to take a little bit deeper, or keep the same outer grip. You can work with the flex foot. That can be a little bit of a different variation. You can work with lifting more thighs or lifting more chest. But take 5 deep breaths. Opening through heart, opening through thighs. Keep a little bit of tone in your inner thighs so the legs don't externally rotate. And then when you're ready, you'll release your legs and forehead pillow, windshield wiper your hips or your legs, or both. And then when you're ready, press on back, downward facing dog. Kind of use this settling time to check in with how you're feeling, to kind of really reconnect mind and body. So that left leg this time is going to reach up, bend the knee and roll the hip. Looks really similar to what we just did in standing splits. So if today that feels good, go ahead, or otherwise you can walk your hands a little closer so that your right heel can lower. And maybe you reach up and you grab onto that foot if it's a good day. Sometimes they're good days. And keep lifting your thigh. Let it go when you're ready, and step your left leg wide and outside your hands. Drop to the right knee. Right hand goes over to the side, take your left arm forward, get as long as you can, so my left toes do turn out, and then open it up for a big twist. Open your chest. If you want to reach back and grab a bind, go ahead, but really work the heart opening. Really lifting the heart away from the earth, away from the hips in a sense, that growing line across the spine. One more deep breath. And then releasing the hands down, walk into a wide leg forward fold. So I'm going to turn. So wide leg forward fold can be hands forward, can be hands down, whatever you prefer. And if you'd like to move this into an inversion, feel free. Last couple deep breaths. Coming up to a halfway lift, turn towards your left foot. And you're going to come into a low lunge. And I'm going to have a block handy. And I'm going to come into a warrior three on a block. So I'm lifted with my chest. If you need a block or something else, I would really highly recommend it. And now I'm going to take that left hand out to the side and start to twist. And if I can continue twisting to reach back and grab my foot, great. Otherwise, I can go heel in or I can just do my twist. So see what would work. Same thing, left hip back and in, lift your heart. Keep lifting through that right thigh for 3, for 2. Nice, slowly release that right leg back and down. Low lunge becomes plank pose. To downward facing dog. So when you're ready, take your left arm a little further forward than your right. Lift up high on those heels. And you're going to find a side plank. Put your left knee down if you need more support today. So lift your right leg away from your left. And then see if you could kick that heel back and grab onto your foot, nice and slow. Maybe you start to build a bow pose, and maybe you don't. You just be a lifted leg for today. Or you could drop your knee for 3, 2, come down into plank, and then all the way to your belly. So we're going to do a side bow. So bend your knees, grab onto your ankles, and so just kind of listen up first for how to get there. We're just doing it on one side. So you're going to lift up to like a partial bow. And then lift your right leg higher than your left so that you can kick yourself over onto the side of your left shoulder. And then you'll lift your hip, you'll kick your foot into your hand and you'll draw your chest forward. And then to come out, just come to your belly and release down. Make a forward head pillow, and this time you can just wag your hips, but just breathe and relax. Nice deep breaths. And then go ahead and plant your hands, press up and back, downward facing dog. Final side. Right leg lifts up, we bend the knee and we roll the hip. And I walk my hands slightly further back, which lets my heel ground. And then if I want to just stay here, I can stay here if I'm feeling confident or I want to try a little challenge. I'll reach up and try and grab my foot. Oh, some like this side's just not happening. So, yeah, never know. When you're ready, walk it back out. Step your right leg wide and forward. Drop to your left knee. Left hand kind of turns out to the left a bit. Right arm forward. And then take it up and back. So you first prioritize opening the chest. And if you feel like you want a little bit more, you take your hand back behind you and you bind and grab your foot. But again, no worries if that doesn't work. Just staying where it feels good. Hands down to the floor, wide leg forward fold. So go ahead and pivot. Anything you want to do with those arms, so I could even bind them again if I need more chest opening, or I could let the hands just straight. And then hands come up. You're going to take a quarter turn to your right. So it's like a warrior three on block. So I'm going to lift up, left hand to the block, right hand out to the side like an airplane. So first I'm squaring the hips, and I'm lifting up and out of the core. And then I'm going to twist. And that could be all I do. Or if I want to bend the knee and grab onto the foot, then I can go here. And I'm still twisting, still kicking foot into hand. For 3, for 2, and then just slowly let it go. Hands to the floor, plank pose. So our right arm is going to step slightly forward than the left. Lift your heels, turn into side plank on the right. Now remember, I could put my knee down just like we began today. And I could do the same pose that I did in the beginning. Or I could keep the leg straight and try and lift the leg. And then again, heel to the rear and see if I could do my side bow with straight legs. Just see what kind of day it is. Then when you're ready, kick it out. Come back to downward facing dog. Before you transition all the way down and into your belly and prepare for our last side bow. So it's going to be the right leg, I believe. It's going to lift up a little. No, it's going to be the left. Left leg is going to lift up enough to roll us over to the side. And then lifting the chest, kicking the feet into the hands. And when you need to come out, you just flop back over and make a forehead pillow, shake your legs out. Breathe it out. And then when you're ready, press up and back, this time a child's pose. So you can have your knees together or wide. Sometimes the knees together can feel nice after all that back bending. Even soften your elbows down. Nice work. Slowly come on up. Kind of roll those shoulders, roll your neck. All right, we're gonna lie onto our back. So when you're ready, if you need to transition through another vinyasa, of course you can do that. And then go ahead and come onto your back. And just hook the knees in. Once again, just like you did in child's pose, just to kind of get some space in the low back. So we're gonna warm down with a little bit of core work, a little bit of twisting work. So straighten your legs. Take your hands out to the side. So I'm going to go palms down if I feel like I really need to help my shoulders ground. Palms up if I want to focus on the chest opening. So bend your right knee, straighten your left. But keep these at right angles so that that knee does not come forward. It stays right over my hip and my left heel reaches up. And then drop your legs towards the right without going all the way down. Keep your left shoulder anchored. Kind of feel that core stabilization as you reach to that outer left hip. Take another couple breaths. And then drop it all the way to the floor. So now I have a little bit of a kickstand. Take your hands and interlace behind your head. And then lift up. Exhale. Inhale, release. Exhale, lift. It's okay if the right shoulder feels heavy. Inhale, release. 3 more. Keep shooting that left leg out. 2. 1 more and hold. And then go ahead and flatten your hands back out. Use the strength of your legs to come all the way up. Lower that left leg a little bit more like 45 degrees. Keep your right knee right over. And then about 4 to 5 times, you're going to cross up and over to the left. So, right, excuse me, exhale. Inhale. Try not to pull on your neck, but rather pull your navel back and bring your ribs towards your outer hip. Two more. One more. Good, hug the right knee in, extend through your left leg. Just a little tractioning. And then both knees come in. Again, if you want to rock, whatever feels good. Okay, your right leg is going to extend all the way up, left knee bends, but active feet, arms out to the side. Lower towards the left without going all the way down. So you kind of have to pick the point that you can keep it stabilized. So maybe it's just a little bit, maybe it's a lot. Keep the shoulders down. And then go all the way towards the floor. I gotta move out of the way, I don't have enough room here. And then hands go behind your head. I stay with an active right leg, and I'm gonna exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. 3 more. One more. Come all the way back up. Lower your right leg towards like a high diagonal, and then 5 times over to the left. So really tone your belly as you lift up and over, lifting both sides of the shoulders. Inhale, release. Exhale, really feeling that lengthening through your tailbone. Pause at the top of the inhale and the bottom of the exhale. One more. Good, grab onto the center of your ankles or shins, widen your knees. And then let the soles of your feet touch, the knees widen, just like we began. Maybe the hands on the belly just to kind of feel that warmth in your center, and then sending that warmth to the heart again. Like you're feeding that heart that warmth. Take your arms overhead now. Let one palm rest in the bottom of the other palm. And just kind of feel your shoulders relax. Switch what palm is on top. Keep relaxing the shoulders. And then slowly release your arms down. You can straighten one or both legs one at a time, and then extend your legs all the way out. So if you need any further shapes, this would be the time that if you can, just let yourself just lay on out and relax. Please do that. Letting that breath again circulate around the heart. And from your heart, we're going to send energy to parts of your body. So for the next few breaths, like your heart had energy, loving energy to share, can that loving energy extend to your brain? Almost like you're just saturating your brain with energy and wisdom of the heart. So send it to your eyes, to your ears, to your mouth, to both sides of your brain. And then send your heart energy down into your arms and your hands so that your fingers and your hands can feel the power of your heart. Send that heart energy down into your belly so that your beliefs, how you move your body, is from the wisdom of the heart. It's through the lens of compassion, consideration, and empathy. Send that heart energy down your spine to the lower back. Send your heart energy to your hips so that we may be graceful as we move through our lives, as we have to adapt constantly to change, to unforeseen circumstances. May we respond from love, from compassion, with grace. Send your heart energy down into your legs. Then we may walk with grace, walk with peace. Then the next couple of breaths, just breathing into your heart and then just vibrating that energy of your heart into your whole yoga mat, as if you could kind of flood your space with that energy of the heart. That grounded, calm wisdom, that trusting wisdom. And then just letting go of all that and just letting yourself rest and breathe, taking in your practice. Feeling yourself just sink back into that deep, deep presence of this moment, the stillness. Observation mode. And as you're ready, starting to wiggle fingers and toes. You might roll to one side, or you might hug your knees in and slowly roll up to a seat. Once you get to a seat, with your right hand and your right thumb, block the right side of your nose and breathe 3 to 5 times in and out through just your left nostril. So just breathing in through the left, out through the left, in through the left, out through the left. One more time, in through the left, out to the left. Lower your right hand and take a moment to just pause and feel. With your left hand, block the left side of your nose and just breathe in and out through the right side. And then drop your left hand and just feel that. Take your hands and cross so that your thumbs are kind of at that side of the armpit, and just gently press. This is a harmonizing kind of mudra kriya, in which allows your hemispheres of the brain to balance. Just a gentle pressure. One more breath. And then join your hands at your heart. Bow toward your efforts today to practice, to gather, to be together in community, to support one another by just showing up and doing this practice together. Honor your intentions with a full breath in. Full breath out. Let's chant Om together. Deep breath in. The light of me honors the